What's Sporty Life TV, man? What is that? How'd you start that? And, you know, what's the goal of Sporty Life TV?
It's kind of funny. Sporty Life TV, I started in my basement just like this. Just like, you know, how we're just doing an interview, you know, and I started off, it was me and my brother. And we started off at first because I was talking shit about how dumb the Redskins were to not believe in Kirk Cousins.
You stayed on that Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
like
that was the reason why I was like, you know what? Let's stop this shit, dog. Like, you know, so whole time, you know, went from the basement stuff and dealing with Kirk Cousins. Then we started getting different interviews in the basement. You know, different people coming and checking us out. And we went from the basement to, boom, started working with the Redskins. Went and did a camp, did a preseason camp with the Redskins. Then we went from the camp to like working with like, you know, different prospects of athletes going into the NFL, like Billy Brown and we had Jamel McClain who worked with the Ravens, Michael Vick, I said. We had, who else? A bunch of different people, man. Like, I went to Towson and was up there with Ryan Delairs from the Panthers. I mean, whole bunch of dudes, you know what I'm saying? We just did a camp, so we do camps every summer for kids. We do food drives in the wintertime. We do coat drives, you know, all that type of stuff. And, you know, we just try to work with the community, help the community. And, you know, you see all this stuff going down now where, like, you don't got too many good examples in the inner cities. You know what I'm saying? You don't got too many good examples in the hood where people giving back. People talk about all the time, like, I don't see none of these rich people giving back, but you don't got to be rich to give back. You can be a regular person and give back. You know what I'm saying? I just had a conversation with one of my ex-football players from high school. He's in college now. And he texted me last night about 11 o'clock at night, like, Coach, I'm thinking about starting. You know, he's like, matter of fact, I already got shit to you. That shit was, pretty much he texted me this. You know, he's like, so I've been working in DC for some time now, see a lot of homeless people who are less fortunate and trying to do something for that. I'm trying to get back to the community. I'm like, honestly, not in a good economic position, but I'm still trying to do something. I know how it feels to not have everything. You know, like, we got kids that, you know, when we met these kids, and we got in the school that I coach at, I mean, there was a pretty bad situations. You know what I'm saying? We had kids that their moms and dad wasn't around. Kids that's just like, they work 40 hours a week and go to school. Like, I'm like, damn, bro. Like, you know, so they have real life situations in their hand. You know, so our thing is we just want to be able to support these kids as best we can. You know what I mean? Even though we not rich, we don't got millions or nothing, but it don't take money to support people sometimes. You can do it with time, you can do it with just organizing some shit. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But yeah, that's what we do now. And right now we're doing a documentary. We're shooting a documentary, so doing that.
I'ma go hard from the jump. I do not flex when I stunt. You left your girl with the squad. Kick it with us like a punt. Oh yeah, we got him like whoa. Oh yeah, we got him like please. They tryna be from a distance. I'm on 1,000 degrees.
As far as the coaching point of view, we're learning. I mean, there's a lot, man. There's a lot of things that, you know, we didn't know as coaches. You got to have patience, bro. You got to just, you know, really be willing to take your time and spend time with these kids. And
yeah, you had told me some time back that you would try to shop this to like Netflix or something like that.
I mean, we haven't tried to shop it yet. We're just putting it together at this point. You know what I'm saying? We're putting it together. We're building it up. And it's the point of the documentary is not necessarily just to shop it to make money. You know what I'm saying? Like, our first point is to get the kids noticed, get them traction, get them going to college, and to get them opportunity to get seen. You know, we had, since I've been there, this was just our second year, we have about like 4 or 5 kids that go to college, you know what I'm saying, on scholarships and shit. Where when we got there, it was 0. You know what I'm saying? So, and they never won any games. You know what I mean? So it's like in 5, 10 years, or 5, let's say 5 more years, we might have 50, 60 kids. You know what I'm saying? That's going to college on scholarships. You know what I mean? Where their parents aren't paying anything. You see what I'm saying? So our goal is just to keep building that up. So one day we got hundreds of kids, and you know we got kids texting us back talking about they starting programs and you know doing different things to the community as well. So You know, just want to be the influence. You feel me?
Are you still in contact with any of these kids that got scholarships?
Yeah, hell yeah.
They still balling?
Hell yeah. We about to go to college games next year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like when the season, if God, hopefully we have a season with this COVID shit, but if they have a season, we're gonna be at the games. We're gonna
Where they play at?
One of our kids plays at Benedict University in South Carolina. Another one plays at Fair Run, and a couple of our kids play in California at Santa Rosa.
Okay.
Yeah. And then one plays, I forgot the name of the school, but I'll get it for you. We got one more that plays in another school. But, yeah.
Man, that's huge, man. I mean, you hear a lot of people, like you said, talking about giving back, and you hear a lot of rappers that give back sometimes to the community. You don't really see, like, well, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but you just don't see it as much because it's just, there's no cameras following these people.
Right.
Regular, everyday people giving back to the community. Because what you're doing is huge because, you know, if you start talking about, like, you know, issues within, like, the black community and stuff like that, you know, one of the biggest issues is leadership, you know what I'm saying? And having, you know, somebody to look up to that's not, you know, doing the wrong thing, somebody that's actually doing the right thing. And I think that goes overlooked a lot of times, and that's probably why it's not as popular, you know, you don't see it as much, but man, I really appreciate what you're doing, man. Like, you're actually giving back. Thank you.
I mean, yeah, for sure, man. You know, I feel like, you know, it's kind of funny. I was just looking at this Instagram post the other day, and it was just like, you know, our generation is like what they call the bridge the gap generation, where like we grew up when there was no internet, and we grew up in the internet era. You know what I'm saying? We grew up when it was like, when you had to do everything by paper, you know what I'm saying? And now you do everything by computer, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're that gap from like the old generation to like the new generation that only knows this. And it's like, we're up now. This is we're not next, but right now we're, you know, in a position where it's like our turn to be leaders. You know what I'm saying? We talk about like where the leaders at, like where the people, but we those leaders, you know what I'm saying? We those people that we looking for people to be, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, whether you got money or you don't got money, whether you got time or you don't got time, you gotta understand you got an obligation. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like being a parent. Sometimes you're not ready to be a parent, but when it gets there, you somehow find your way to be ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I mean, that's just like where we at right now, especially in this turmoil of a year in 2020. It's like we got a lot of things that, especially in the black community, that everybody just got to be hands-on about. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
So, man, we kind of touched on it earlier, but so, you know, I know your opinion on, you know, the movement and whatnot, because you're obviously doing stuff, you're getting back to the community. But what do you feel? How do you feel about the movement, the Black Lives Matter movement? How do you feel about it, and what do you feel like the outcome could be?
Now, I mean, to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement in particular,
I mean, it's a very broad. It covers so much stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know,
like,
I don't want to.
The Black Lives Matter movement in particular, it depends on, you know, what you're referring, like what specific movement you're referring to. You know, right now, if you're referring to police brutality, I'm understanding that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, you know, a lot of people always hit me about this on Instagram. I always get into different, you know, conversations. I don't want to say disputes, but conversations with people that's like, yeah, you a Black Lives Matter, got you messed up. I was like, I don't even know who Black Lives Matter is, to be honest. Like, I don't talk to Black Lives Matter for Black Lives Matter to get me messed up. Like, I'm not on a Black Lives Matter group chat to be like, hey, this is what we're doing today, guys. You know what I'm saying?
This is what
yeah.
Black Lives
I'm
Matter.
like, bro, I'm old enough to understand the brutality, the situations that I've been a part of. You know what I'm saying? From personal stories and stories that other people like. You know what I mean? Like, so when I see them talking about brutality and things like that, yes, police have to use excessive force. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have a lot of officers when they talk about defunding police, like, they're not talking about abolishing police, they're talking about moving money into places and doing things differently with money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't need to have militarized police to be pulling over people with, you know, speeding tickets. You know what I mean? Like, I brought up an example. I was like, in Maryland, D.C., you got speed cameras. Put speed cameras up. You don't have to pull people over speeding. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have speed cameras and people will pay their fine.
Yo, in the fucking UK, the police, they're not even called police, they're called peace officers. They don't even keep guns on them.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Now, we're a country of a First Amendment, which, you know, people believe in their gun, or Second Amendment, whatever, they believe in their guns, you know what I mean? But it's like, even with that said, you don't have to have, every officer doesn't need to have a gun. So every officer doesn't need to be for every situation. You have some officers that have, you know, lesser weapons. You feel me? Like rubber bullets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with having rubber bullets? Them Jones hurt. Them Jones bust out eyes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
With a rubber bullet, you're not gonna even know it's a rubber bullet.
Exactly. You think you dead. You know what I mean? So it's like, exactly. You feel me? So it's like, you can have different approaches that are less lethal. And the thing is, we have a lot of. Wait,
I just had to say this, right? Because this is crazy, man. I just had this thought. But you realize, like, if you've seen people get shot on TV or the internet, right? You notice when somebody gets shot with a handgun, usually they don't die right away. They get shot, they run around, and then they fall out, depending on where they get hit. You get hit with a rubber bullet, you feel that shit immediately. There's no like, oh, let me run around. Nah, you know what I'm saying? You're going down, you're covering up, you're not.
And the thing is, you may not even need to use that rubber bullet. You know what I'm saying? You may not even need to use it. There are times, again, it's like, you just need to have better, like, you gotta have guys that understand you're not in a war ground. Like, the thing is, I was talking to this one person online, and they're like, what do they say? They're like, yeah, what if somebody assaults your family and they're out the next day? I was like, okay, if somebody assaulted anyone, they're probably going to go to jail, pay bail, and be out. Like, I wouldn't expect them to be in, I'm like, what do you expect them to be in jail permanently or dead because they assaulted somebody's family? You know what I mean? Like, just because you assault somebody's family, does that mean you have the right to kill them? Is that what you're saying? Like, they're supposed to go to jail, go through their due process. You know what I'm saying? Like,
what was the point? Why he say that? What was he trying to say?
He was trying to say, like, people taking police off of the streets. So what if somebody assaults your family and now he's back out the next day, like,
because there's no police?
Yeah, I'm like, so what is the police supposed to do? Kill the person? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's gonna arrest them and go to jail. He's probably gonna get out within the next week or so for assault. You're not gonna be in jail for that long. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, when people say certain things, it's like their minds have just been trained to be militarized. You know what I'm saying? Their minds have been trained to be like, people are a war ground instead of citizens that you're protecting. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I think the better way to say it is like, yeah, they're militarized in the sense of like, they think that if you get pulled over, because I hear a lot of people say this, if you're interacting with the cops, you did something wrong.
Exactly.
And let's just say, for the sake of argument, 60% of the time, yeah, you probably did something where that cop came up to you, you know what I'm saying, and he was doing his job. But there's still that other 40% where, and that's the issue, you know what I'm saying? That's the point of it. It's not about, we're humans. Everybody's gonna make mistakes.
One guy was like, well, I hope you don't get pulled over anytime soon. He's like, I hope you don't have to run. So I was like, he's like, I hope you don't break the law. I was like, listen, first of all, everybody breaks the law. I don't care if it's a simple, you didn't turn your signal on to make a left turn. You know what I'm saying? Everybody breaks the law. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, as you're saying that, you're saying like you hope that by breaking, like, everyone's gonna break the law at a point. Just because you break the law doesn't mean you should be afraid of the interaction that you're gonna have with the officer. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to understand, as you break the law, you're gonna have repercussions that come from it, but you're gonna go through a due process to get your repercussions. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be worried, like, oh shit, like, I might die off of this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, that's the point of it, man. Like, a lot of people think it's like some anarchist Marxist, like people want to take police away and then leave everybody to be like free food. I don't know what they expect. You know what I mean? It's like, nah, bro. Like, people want civilized humans and people to understand that life is precious, man. Like, you can't just go around killing people on accident. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't kill people on accident. Like, it just doesn't work like that. You don't get like do-overs or like, you know what I mean? Like, those are things that we gotta use as like higher standards. Like, you know, thing with police immunity. Police can do a lot of things and be immune. You know what I mean? Like, those are small things that they can take away, you know, but.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure. It's just oversight, man. They don't have enough oversight. Like, I seen the one video where you seen it maybe with it's like a white guy and a white girl in a hotel, and the cops is like making them get down on the ground and
giving them all these crawl. Yeah. He's like, pull your pants up. Like, like,
and when they shot him, he was on his
hands crying.
Like
even stuff like that. Like that has nothing to do with being white or black. But
but I'm saying that's what I'm saying with the oversight, because they didn't even get convicted. And this is what I don't understand. Like maybe this could be a conversation to have, but like, why would you, as a person watching this video, how can everybody that watches this be like, this is wrong?
Exactly.
But then when it goes to
the court of law, it's not wrong.
Yeah, like what I just want to know, like, tell me what is deemed offensive about,
because
you know what I'm saying, what he was doing.
People, like the way they try to structure the law, even the I'll go back to this internet conversation. The person I was talking to, he's like, see, you don't understand. He's like, people kill people. He's like, cops don't kill people that much. I'm like, first of all, cops are people. Like that's the thing. Is like people think like their mentality is like you're not a human compared to like you're a bigger value of a human than this other human. You understand what I'm saying? They're like, what about this person's life? I'm like, this police officer's life costs just as much as criminal's life. You know what I'm saying? Like even if he committed a crime, that doesn't mean that he's a person like. Granted, all right, if you're killing multiple babies and shit like that, nobody wants, you know what I'm saying? Nobody wants that to happen. But people out here killing just people, you know what I'm saying? People that are out here with $20 bills, you know, trying to get fixed. Like, come on, like, those are things, people commit crimes all the time. You know what I mean? Nobody should do a traffic stop and get killed, or drunk driving, like the Rashard Brooks in Atlanta. Like, people are like, yeah, but he was a criminal. Like, that doesn't mean he should die, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, so... I mean, the thing is, people got to understand, like, every life is the same equality. Like, people want to talk about all lives matter. All lives do matter. But it's not looking like all lives matter. You know what I mean? Like, when in Atlanta, 9 deaths, they had 9 police shootings. Guess how many were black? 9. You know what I'm saying? Like, 9 police killed 9 unarmed people. All 9 were black. Like, that's not equality. You know what I'm saying? That's not accident. Like, that's just a lower regard for this group of people. Like, you feel me? So it's like you gotta just hold up more accountability for stuff like that. No one's saying like all police are bad. You got a lot of good police out here. I know I got police friends. You know what I'm saying? People that went to yeah, you know what I'm saying? People I went to Shepherd with. Like I got a lot of good police buddies, but it's like it's not individual. It's a mentality that's in the force. You know
but you know what? Here's some real shit though. My father was a police officer, and I was asking him, "How do you feel about the movement?" Because I'm only referring to it as Black Lives Matter for the interview. But when I'm talking to my father, he was like, because he's a police and he does security now. I would think he would have been more like on the side of police, like Blue Lives or whatever. But I asked him. I said, "So, is there a lot of racism in the police department? Like, would you say you've ever seen anything?" He was a cop in the 80s, so I should have known this. I'm asking.
Hell yeah.
He's in the early 90s. I'm like, so what have you ever seen any racism or excessive force and all this? And he was like, are you serious?
Right.
He was like, he's seen things, and again, this is just him telling me this, you know what I mean? But believe this. I know he's not lying about this. He said he's seen dudes get beat up in cuffs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then had the whole police report change, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't a part of it, but he said he didn't say nothing. So I'm saying again, if you're not a bad cop, but you're seeing fuck shit happening and you're a new cop, you're like afraid to speak up more because you're not trying to, you know what I'm saying, disrupt whatever. But again, you know, it goes into the systematic part of things, you know what I'm saying?